Joining us right now to talk more about that is former House Majority Leader and former Virginia Congressman Eric Cantor. Eric, it's good to have you on the program.
It is great to be on.
So when you first stepped down, he said that he wanted to step down too, but he didn't want to leave that vacuum. Is that the way you see it?
Well, I mean, I didn't know at the time what was going on, and certainly my defeat in my primary was a shock to me and to many people. So, I do think that John Boehner had always said that he was not a man of Washington and was going to step down at some point. I just think the way he did it was so classic John Boehner. He had always been such a devout Catholic his whole life, having been an altar boy, and we now know he'd been trying to invite the Pope to address Congress for 20 years. Finally got there and did it, and then said, "Hey, I woke up the next morning and it was time."
Yeah, you're right, and it was a fitting cap to his a long career to end it with the Pope. But this whole idea, you say you were surprised. This whole idea of the establishment really getting the cold shoulder from people because people are angry because not enough was getting done. When the Republicans took control in November, a lot of people thought the Republicans would do a lot more. How come it's been so difficult?
See, Maria, here's the problem and the opportunity, I think. I think John Boehner, put his finger on it when he said that there are false expectations being created by so many in the political debate. When you don't control the White House and you don't have 2/3 of Congress in order to override what the White House will do, you can only do but so much.
Yeah, but I got to push back on that. I know I want to get everybody in here, but when the victory first happened in November, even John Boehner said, we're going to put as many bills as possible in front of the president, and we're going to watch him veto them. And that's going to be his legacy, vetoing all these bills. Where are the bills?
So here's where Mitch McConnell comes in, because we know we have two houses of the legislature in Congress. Mitch McConnell has something called the 60-vote threshold, which is basically making everything filibuster subject to a filibuster, and so it's difficult. Again, I never did pretend to understand the rules over there because I had enough time trying to figure out the House. But I'm telling you, there has to be the ability to get through both houses of Congress and to get to the president's desk. And yes, people are frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm a conservative. I'm frustrated that things aren't getting done. But we should not mislead people and set expectations when they're never going to happen. And, unfortunately, some of this is going on in the presidential race as well.
Yeah, to throw out some examples. In what instances are people being misled?
Well, number one, saying that that we're going to be able to repeal Obamacare. The president is in office. We don't have 2/3 of Congress in order to override his veto. The president's not going to veto Obamacare. The way to get rid of Obamacare is to elect a Republican president, at which point, if you still control Congress, you still have the 60-vote problem in the Senate, but you'll be able to actually make some progress on that. Now, people say, well, you haven't limited the spending of the government. Well, you know what? John Boehner and I, we negotiated in 2011 the debt ceiling deal, which produced this sequestration, which actually, and is very controversial, but has compressed the spending on the discretionary side more than it ever has in recent history.
Eric, I got to. First of all, I haven't seen you since you left the government and joined Wall Street. Wall Street. What I want to know is
Freudian slip.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I was doing a promo.
That's okay.
The government has stayed out of the way of the markets for the last year and a half, and that's one of the things that's been a good thing. But I get the sense, and a lot of people get the sense, is that's not going to be the case in the next 6 months. Now that you're working in the industry, should industry participants be concerned about the government and what may be the coming dysfunction having an impact on the markets?
Well, I mean, I think, first of all, there's no question uncertainty is rampant across the country and across the globe. And in my job at Moelis & Company, I've been traveling internationally a great deal. People look to America to lead. They look to our capital markets.